and I click the autopilot off, and all of a sudden the plane decides to roll about 40 degrees. All right, I guess I probably had 160, 170 hours. I had just bought a Skymaster, and actually a pressurized turbocharged Skymaster that had all the Riley mods on it. And I lived in San Antonio, and there was a guy up in Dallas that had a lot of experience with him, so I dropped it off with him to get an annual done on it. I'm an ER doc, and so I have a lot of weird shifts, and he promised me it would be done on a Friday by 10 in the morning, and I had a shift at 8 o'clock that night. So a buddy of mine flew me up there in his 340 and dropped me off at like 9. I thought, maybe 11 I'll be out of there. At 6:45, they were actually out in the evening, 6:45 in the evening. They were out running it to make sure that there were no leaks or anything to get it cowled up so I could take it home. During that time, it was Texas, it was the summer, and it decided to build a nice big thunderstorm between Dallas and San Antonio. So I immediately, because I've been watching the radar thinking, oh crap, I filed, I postponed, I filed, finally I'm ready to go. I'm in Addison in Dallas. I jump in a plane, screw the checklist, fire it up, let's get the heck out of here because there's a big giant level 5 that I'm gonna have to get around by Lampasas. Take off, everything's great, end up having to deviate, finally end up deviating like another 60 miles outside of Lampasas to come back into Bernie Stage in San Antonio. And I'm thinking, well, that was okay. And I'm coming into land, and I'd had the autopilot on because I was watching the storm scope and just basically trying to manage the weather and fly the airplane. And I click the autopilot off, and all of a sudden the plane decides to roll about 40 degrees. And I've got pretty much all the aileron I can put in it trying to keep it level, and I managed to get it on the ground and just couldn't figure out what the heck was going on. So I pulled into the hangar, I got the golf cart, pushed it in the hangar, drove home, kind of shaking the whole way. The next day I went back out there and sat in the airplane and said, what in the world is going on? And I thought, at least I've got to go fly this thing again. There's something wrong. I pulled up to the gas pumps, and I should have burned probably about 35 gallons out to each side. And I put it in there, and it goes click. And it's like 3 gallons. Oh, I think I know what I did wrong. Put it on the other side, it keeps going and going and going. I did the math. I had about 4 gallons left when I turned the autopilot and came into land. Bernie Stage has just got little small landing lights, and you have to really know it well to get in. It's pretty short at the time. It was only about 3,700 feet. If I had deviated any farther and stuff, I basically would have had a double flame out and would have had to land at night. So follow your checklist. Don't be a dummy. I was so immersed in what was going on, never looked at the gas gauge. On the checklist, I'm sitting there, and one of them says, ensure fuel selectors are on correct engines. And I looked down there, and one of them was pointing to the right one, and the other one was over in crossfeed, so that they were both pulling out of one tank. Who knows why the guys, when they were out there running it and stuff, had it on crossfeed? I have no idea. I never, ever put it on crossfeed. In fact, I never touch them because it drains everything out of one wing on each side, so you basically just have on or off. So arrogance, it's always the same, don't worry about that.